Have you ever wondered if you handle the situation properly? I know I have. Well, you're welcome to SIP. Here, we say it properly. And we're looking forward to having you on each episode as we learn together how to say it properly. I am MABEL FOLUKE IRUKERA. See you then. Hello, you're welcome to Byronbee TV, and we're having Say It Properly. My name is MABEL FOLUKE IRUKERA. I look forward to sharing so much with you, and I look forward to learning from you as well. But you're only going to be able to do that if you subscribe to Byronbee TV. Subscribe, share, and then we'll be able to go on this journey together. Today we're going to be talking about a very serious topic, something that is very, very serious, and it's deep. But at the same time, very prevalent in society and in the world right now. Talking about divorce. Yes, the big D. Say it properly, divorce. That's what today is about. It's the desire of every couple that says, I do, to live happily ever after. But reality shows that that doesn't always happen. Things happen. Life happens. Currently, we have about 50% of marriages ending in divorce and separation. And we have to remember that a divorce is not just about the two parties. It's not about that man and that woman alone, especially where children are involved. Where there are no children, you still have families and friends that are involved. But when you have children, that's the most sensitive part. So, how do we start? First and foremost, if you're going to be getting a divorce and you have children or you have a child, both of you must agree to talk to the children together. Let me take you into a conversation and then maybe you'll understand what I'm talking about. So this is a couple who is about to start the divorce proceedings and their conversation. Shegun, you must be kidding. You want me to sit down with the twins and you and lie? Ngozi, what do you mean lie? Yes, if you're going to have me sitting down with the children and you there and tell them we're getting a divorce and not tell them the reason, it means you want me to lie. After all, you made the choice to make your co-worker your wife and have children with her. I don't have children with her, but she's pregnant, isn't she? Ngozi, let's not make it about me. Let's make it about the children. You see, I don't need you to tell me how to treat my children. After all, I have chosen to be with them. You haven't. Shegun moves back, says, can we just come together and do this properly so that the children are not negatively affected? And you know about negative affection or negative affected. Which one are you going to say? You must be absolutely raving mad to think I'll sit with you and lie to our children. If you want to talk to them, go and tell them why you're getting a divorce. And she walks out of the room. That's not drama. It's reality. It's what's happening in homes, in offices. People are going through situations concerning divorce, and that's how acrimonious it becomes. Because most times, one party is deeply hurt. But at the end of the day, we're talking about how does it affect the children. You'll be amazed to know that divorce affects children of different ages. So you might think, oh, they are mature, oh, they're in their 20s. It would affect them. Oh, it's just a toddler. That's the one that people don't even understand. That toddler, that 2-year-old, that 3-year-old is affected by the divorce. And so learning to say it properly. Saying it properly means acting it properly, means putting it out there properly is very, very important. I want to tell you about a child I worked with many years ago. This child was about 3, no, it wasn't 3 exactly yet, but was going on to 3. He was fully potty trained. And then suddenly he started to wet himself again in class. because he wasn't wearing diapers anymore. Suddenly he would wet his pants, he would poo on himself, and he just seemed always crying and clingy. After a few weeks, I had to ask when the mom came, and I said, I noticed something about Samuel. What is going on with him? He seems to be regressing. I didn't know I was touching a sore spot. And the mother said, Samuel's father and I are going through a divorce. But she had no idea. She didn't know it was affecting her child like that. She just thought she was going through life herself. So I guess you're just, dealing with it. That lets you know that children of different ages are affected by divorce. I'm trying to make us understand the gravity of what divorce does to children and how we should handle it. You heard that conversation between Shegu and Ngozi. Ngozi is definitely upset, she's mad, she's hurt, and she feels like, I don't want to be a part of this. You tell the children. Reality, that's the wrongest, let me use that term, way to go about it. So first and foremost, if we want to do this right, both parties have to agree to tell the children together. You have to sit with the children, no matter how young they are. The little ones are different. You can start saying things to them, like the 2 or 3 year old, like, oh, so mommy and daddy are not living in the same house together again. You break it down to that level. But for the older ones, you have teenagers, they have teenagers. And then they also have the little one. So what they say, you sit down and you talk and you say things like, Mom and I have not been happy together for a while. And in order for us to make this work, we think it's better that we stay away from each other so that we don't begin to affect your lives negatively. It's not a template, it's just an idea, a sample. Somebody else could say, oh, Mom and I have worked hard at trying to love each other, but all our effort has ended in us not agreeing on that. It's just not working. Well, we love you so much and we don't want it to affect your lives negatively. Because when we don't love each other, we don't act in love in the house and it will affect you. And so we need to go our separate ways. No matter how well we put it, it's still going to be painful to the children. So that's one part you need to know. But if, for instance, there are circumstances beyond your control that make it impossible for the two of you to be together, you're going to do it separately, I want to appeal to you today, for the sake of that child or your children involved, do not use that opportunity to pull the other person down, even if you feel it's their fault, because that's still a parent to that child or to the children. So the best way to go about it is to acknowledge the fact that you have both, agreed to go separate ways, even if you're not in agreement, because at times they are in divorce. One parent still wants to remain, or one partner wants to remain in the relationship. But you have to say, we're both agreed that we're going to do this, but we love you and we don't want you to be negatively affected. It's important that you do that for the sake of your children. And the reason is this: many people do not realize that children also feel guilty for the divorce of their parents. Yes, I have counseled and worked with a number, different ages. When a child says, maybe if I was doing better in school, and you're looking at this child and saying, how does your doing better in school make it possible for your parents to stay together? But that's the thinking of a child. They're looking at whatever they can grab out to make this home stay together, because that's all they have known since they were born. And you can't blame them. So you have to let them know that there's nothing that you could have done. You say to the child categorically, maybe together, and then at different times if you have many children, tell them, see, Mom and Dad and I, whatever it is, we are going separate ways, and there's nothing that you did to make us do this. It's our choice as adults. It's our choice, it's our responsibility. But we both love you. I'm sure you keep wondering why I keep reiterating, we love you, we love you. It's because it's important for those children to know that the end of their parents' marriage is not the end of their lives. You also have to be ready for all kinds of reactions, a wide range. From a child recessing, into himself or herself, to that child becoming aggressive, to that same child moving away and keeping malice, being disobedient, being defiant, all kinds of emotions occur. You have to remember that you made the choice that this child comes into the world, and you made the choice that the home that they knew is going to fall apart. So it's your responsibility to walk with that child through it every step of the way. I know today sounds very deep, and even I feel that heaviness in me as I talk about this because it's a serious topic. So I'm looking at different ways that we can actually use this so that you be able to break it to the children and also carry on, in a relationship with that other person. It's important that even if you're no longer friends, even though you're no longer in love with each other, for the sake of that child or those children, you are cordial, especially when they are there. You're able to, move things, agree on schools to go to. Don't make it a time to start showing your weight. You have many men who are the breadwinners of the home saying, well, if that child doesn't go to this school, then I won't pay for it. Sir, what you are doing is not damaging to that woman, but to that child, and that child will hold you responsible in life. So you need to back off and say, what is the best thing for my child? And I will do that. And for you, the woman, it's not for the time, because most times it's the women that just keep saying, oh, your dad did this, your dad did that, and all that. Because we're more emotional, generally. It's not that time. You'll be surprised that some of these children actually have observed so much in the house already. And because they have friends, really the older ones, the ones in their pre-teens and early teens and in 20s, they already see, things that are happening in the society. And they start wondering. I remember a friend of mine saying to me once that she and her husband had an argument, and they didn't even know that their son, who is 8 years old, was awake. And in the morning, the first thing he said to them was, are you getting a divorce? And they both looked at each other, and they were wondering, where is that coming from? But that's the society we're living in. So we need to make it easier for our children, even if you're getting a divorce. Repeatedly telling them that you love them, repeatedly telling them that it's not their fault, it's not a cliche, it's reality. Because it's taken years for you to get to that point. It's going to take years for them to understand that this is the new norm for us. And then for those that have joint custody, maybe you've gotten to the end of the rope and now you're going to be sharing the children. It happens a lot these days. The child is here for this month, here for the other child. Please try to make the two new homes as seamless as you can. Don't indulge that child in one home to the detriment of the other home. Eventually, it washes, because you will be responsible for the consequences of it. You say, oh, I'm going to splurge so that that child will love me more. That child will take advantage at that time. But when the child grows up, the child will definitely understand that, oh, mom or dad was doing this just to buy me, and they might resent you for it. Instead, agree on rules on both sides. Painful as it is, you did not plan to live your lives like that. But agree. In later editions, we're going to be talking about when you have a new spouse and you have to introduce that child or your children to the new spouse. A different ball game entirely. Right now, we're still dealing about just the divorce. Just the divorce. You have to make the transition as smooth as possible for the children. You have to be ready for questions. They may ask you the most embarrassing questions, especially the older ones. I'm saying that. You can't shush them off because you have brought them into the situation. You must respond to those questions as well as you can. So in the case of Segun and Ngozi, Segun is going off to marry his co-worker. And she's pregnant already. So if the child asks, so what's going to happen? Where are you going? Why are you doing this and all that? To the best of your ability, you're going to have to explain to that child that you have a new home, but it does not negate your feelings for him or her. Because the parent that first gets away and has a new family is always the one that the child thinks has forgotten about them. Reality, because they think, oh, you now have new focus, new attention on something, and they just feel, how do I fit in? So you have to let that child know that even though you're going to be having a little, and you have to say you are going to be having a little baby brother or baby sister, the other parents might not like that, but that's that person's, half brother or sister. Say, I would always love you, and I'm looking forward to you being a part of this family as well. It's not an easy road at all. It's a painful, painful road, but we don't have to make it painful for our children. That's why we're trying to say it properly this time. And I know that with wisdom, with patience, maturity, prayer, you succeed in saying it properly. I remain MABEL FOLUKE IRUKERA. This is Say It Properly. Remember to subscribe to Byronbee TV, and we'll see you next time. Thank you. Have you ever wondered if you handle the situation properly? I know I have. Well, you're welcome to SIP. Here, we say it properly. And we're looking forward to having you on each episode as we learn together how to say it properly. I am MABEL FOLUKE IRUKERA. See you then.